David Smith here with one more flipped classroom math video lesson. 3 tips before we start. First, remember you can adjust the playback speed to make it faster or slower as you like. Second, you can pause the video at any point to catch up on your notes or jot down some questions. Third, you can turn on the captions so you can read my words on the screen. Today's topic, equations of lines. So we're working our way through our coordinate geometry chapter, and line equations, lines happen on the coordinate plane, so we analyze line equations looking at that, looking at points and slopes and things like that. Okay? So there's 3 forms that we're going to deal with in this chapter: gradient intercept or slope intercept, general form, and then finally point slope form, which is also very useful. So gradient intercept form, you've probably already seen this. It looks like this: y equals mx plus b. And just to know, that's the slope, and that's the intercept. So the slope is like, it doesn't have to be a fraction, sometimes it is. It's just a number in front of the x, and the b is a number in the equation, but what it gives us is the y-intercept, which is 0, b. And remember, the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, and that means that the x value is 0. Okay, so the y-intercept is given by the b, and the point that it describes is 0b, like that. Okay, general form is kind of the weirdest one. It looks like this: ax plus by equals c. And I want you to notice a couple things. First off, I have big uppercase letters here. That signifies something. And let's put that out here. A, B, and C are integers. So that means no fractions. They have to be a 5 or a -7 or a positive 22 or something like that. They can't be fractions. No 4s, 5ths, 5/3, things like that. Also, the A term must be positive. Must be positive. That's a B. There we go. B, this letter can be positive or negative just depending on the equation, but the A has to be a positive number. So that's general form. Point slope form is like this: y minus b equals m times x minus a. And let's do a little bit of explaining here. A, B is on the line. So AB is a point on this line, and of course M, as before, M is the slope. And a word here, I use slope and gradient interchangeably because they are. I came up through my maths using slope as the word. We've moved a little bit, or at least our textbook has moved over to using gradient. They mean the same exact thing. So a word about these 3 equations. First off, you're going to need to be able to bounce around between the forms. I'm going to show you that. You also need to learn to use whichever form works best for the information that you have. And that's a future lesson. We'll go into the details of that. Okay, let's do a problem. Here's a setup. A line has a slope of -5, and it passes through the point -1, 3. And here's your instruction: find all equations. So when you get a problem like this, your first step is look at what you have, and that's going to give you your best entry point into one of those equation forms, and then you can translate or convert that equation into whichever form you're looking for. So we have a slope and a point. Now, if you remember from the previous board, that was the 3rd equation. It's called point slope form, and I've summarized it here. It's y minus b equals m times x minus a. So all we need to do for this is just do a plug-in. So let's do that. This is going to be y minus 3. Remember, this is a and b. Y minus 3 equals -5 times x minus 1, but there's a minus here also, so that changes that to a positive 1. There we go. That's our point slope form. Now, the easiest way to go, the easiest next equation is just to solve this for y and simplify, and that gives you slope-intercept. Remember, slope-intercept looks like this. Y equals mx plus b. One way to think of slope-intercept is just the line equation solved for y. So everything else is on the opposite side, y is alone. So let's do that with this one. So firstly, I'm going to distribute this over here and get y minus 3 equals negative 5x minus 5. And now I'm going to add 3 to both sides and get y equals negative 5x minus 2. And that gives us our slope-intercept form equation. So now we're halfway there. Okay, so now that we've done the slope-intercept form, we can move on and get our general form equation. And as you recall, general form looks like this: ax plus by equals c. And the uppercase letters signify that a, b, and c are all integers, no fractions. Now fortunately in this equation we're already there. We don't have any fractions, so we're not going to need to worry about that condition. So what do? The general form equation is solved for the constant. The constant is alone on one side. So I can see here, I'm just going to move the 5x over to this side by adding 5x to both sides. And I get 5x plus y equals negative 2. And that's our general form equation, and it fits all the rules. All the coefficients are integers, and we're done. Okay, I want you to give this one a try. Same process that we just did, so go ahead and pause the video, consult your notes, and see what you can come up with. Find all 3 equations. Okay, let's take a look. We have a slope and we have a point. So it's the same entry point for this. I have my a and my b there. So I'm going to do y minus 3 equals 1/2 times x minus 2. So that's just using the point-slope form. I did my plug-in. I plugged my slope in where the slope goes, the y-coordinate there, and the x-coordinate there. Okay, so I'm done. That's point-slope form. Now let's convert that to slope-intercept. So again, I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to keep this the same until I distribute the half on these two terms. So I'll get 1/2 x. Now 1/2 times negative 2 is just minus 1. Okay, so let's finish this up. I got to add 3 to both sides, so I get 1/2 x plus 3 with a minus 1 gives me a plus 2. And there we go. There's my slope-intercept form. Finally, I need to put it into general form. So I'm just going to leave the 2 here and move the 1/2 x over, minus 1/2 x from both sides. And I have y, let's put the x term first because we know we need that, minus 1/2 x plus y equals 2. Now I have 2 problems. I'm not quite there yet. First one is that's not an integer. It needs to be an integer, and the x term needs to be positive. Okay? So to fix that, I'm going to multiply the whole equation by minus 2 on both sides. So minus 2 times 1/2 is going to, times negative 1/2 is just going to give me x. Now minus 2 times y is minus 2y, and minus 2 times 2 is minus 4. And so there's our general form equation for this line. Okay, let's add a little wrinkle to that. What if you start with just 2 points? No one told you a slope. All you have is 2 points. Now you know from the graph that if you have 2 points and you can plot them on the graph, you can draw that line. So we have fully defined the line by giving you 2 points. However, we haven't defined the equation yet. So pause the video and think real hard. What might you do with these 2 points to get the information you need to then write a line equation? Okay, I see 2 solutions to this. One, you could just plot them and use rise over run, however that shows up on your graph. You could plot them and that would show you the slope. Okay? What I'm going to do is use the slope equation. I'll get a slope for these 2 points, and then I can use either point and the slope to get into a line equation with point-slope form. So let's do that. So my slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to go x1, y1, x2, y2. Do my math. 5 minus 3 over negative 2 minus 1. Okay, I'm just plugging in my equation, my x1, y1, x2, y2. Let's do the math. 5 minus 3 is 2. Negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. So our slope is negative 2/3. Okay, so now we have slope. Now we can use point-slope form to get our first equation. So that's going to be And here's where you have a choice. Kind of fun, you got a choice. You can use this point with your slope or that point with your slope. If you do it right, they'll give you the same equation. I'm just going to go ahead and pick this one because it's all positive. That tends to make it a little bit easier. So I'm going to do y minus b, which is this term. So it's going to be y minus 3 equals m times x minus a, which is the x term, like so. I'm sorry. I know what a is, right? That's the one. So there we go. Now I just need to manipulate it a little bit. Oh, left something else out. I know my slope, so let's put that in there. Okay, so minus 2/3 times x minus 1. So I'm going to distribute my minus 2/3. Y minus 3 equals negative 2/3 x minus or plus 2/3. Right? I just have negative 2/3 times negative 1 makes it a positive 2/3. Now I just need to subtract or add my 3 to both sides. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus, now 3 is how many thirds? It's 9/3. I have 2 more, so I'm going to have 11 thirds. Okay. So now I have my slope-intercept form. Equation solved for y. Slope happens to be negative. That's okay, we can deal with that. And our intercept. A final word about this equation. Don't worry about having fractions. It happens. Also, I prefer to show this improper fraction here. That's fine for a line equation. Okay? Now that you've watched the video, take a moment to jot down any additional notes, some questions, or a quick summary of the lesson. You can also re-watch the portions of the video that were a little bit challenging for you. If you enjoyed the video, please click like, and if you'd like to help me grow my YouTube channel, please click subscribe.